ready for some breakfast? I've got your fruit plate.
Apples.
Apples.
There's greens.
Greens.
Spinach and kale.
Spinach and kale.
There are grapes.
Grapes.
Seeds and some pellets.
Seeds and pellets.
Guess which one he eats last, if at all.
Yeah.
Pellets. Here, keeps. Here.
Yummy! Breakfast time! It's delicious! There we go. There we go. Mmm, yummy!
Oh, now the pellet.
He's like, no.
Seed. There we go,
There we
bud.
go. Enjoy your breakfast. Yum, yum, yum. He goes for the seeds first, but then all the greens are mixed in, so he gets those too.
I can also see a purple thing.
Purple cabbage, I think.
Oh, purple cabbage?
Oh, there's some cabbage in there. Mmm.
I didn't even see the cabbage.
Hey guys, what's going on? So we are back with another update of Pillow the Parakeet, which maybe you can hear him chirping over there. He's currently playing on his jungle gym. And the focus of this update is his flight feathers. We got Pillow back in, I think it was April. I actually lost track, but I believe it was April. It was definitely in the spring. And for a while we kept his flight feathers trimmed. They came trimmed. We got him from the pet store, and all the parakeets there had their flight feathers trimmed. And as I said, we kept up with it. We would just have a little pair of scissors and we would just distract him with some millet and just come up behind him and clip, clip, and it was no big deal. He reached a point about a month or two ago where his feathers started growing in really fast. Like initially we only had to clip them not that much, like once a month maybe, if that, once every 6 weeks, and he would be completely fine. But then all of a sudden his flight feathers just started growing in. It was like every about 2 weeks, his feathers were just, you know, they were just kind of doing this and just getting longer and longer. And so it was getting harder and harder to keep up with keeping them clipped. And as his flight feathers got longer, he was obviously more adept at flying. And he would go, instead of just sort of flapping, he could flap from his cage to the floor, from the floor to the table. He could kind of go from the table back to his cage, but he never really got any height. He never got any distance. He just kind of flapped around. But of course, as his flight feathers grew in, he became a lot more able to actually fly. And so he would kind of go from the top of his cage and he would actually sort of fly laps around the top of the room. And I actually tried to get it on camera several times, but it happened so quickly, you never know when he's going to do it. And he would only do it maybe 2 or 3 times total, and then he would stop. So by the time I kind of got the camera out, it's like, okay, fly, 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 and he was over and done with it. So I haven't been able to actually get it on camera yet. But he stays in the living room area. He's never shown any interest in going out into the kitchen, going upstairs, nothing like that. It's just this living room area kind of back here, just kind of from his cage, sort of up around back here. He doesn't really go over back by the table or the kitchen or anything like that. But what we did notice was, as soon as he kind of had that freedom to really just be more mobile and fly around, he became much more happy to be out of his cage. Like I've said in past videos, we've always left the cage door open. He's free to come and go as he pleases. But he went through a period where he was actually sort of like a little, we called him a little Velcro bird, because like as soon as we sat down on the couch, he would fly straight over to us. He would climb up. He used to always just fly from the cage down to the floor, and then whoever's sitting here on the sofa, he would hop up on their foot, and then we'd raise our foot up onto the sofa, raise it up onto the table. But then he started flying through the air and actually landing on us. He'd land on, you know, he'd fly over and land on Kevin's head or land on his shoulder. When my parents were visiting here a few weeks ago, he would fly over, he would land on my dad and stand on his glasses. He'd stand on the edge of his glasses and just like pick at the glasses and pick at his hair, and kept saying, keep your eyes closed, don't let him pick at your eyes. But he was just very, very attached to people. Almost as soon as his flight feathers were long enough that he actually had this freedom. So we're thinking maybe because he now has the freedom to kind of move around even more so, it just makes him feel more comfortable in his environment. That maybe when his flight feathers were trimmed, he always kind of had that sense of, you know, that sense of impotency, so to speak, that he couldn't fly, you know, he couldn't get around as well as he really wanted to. And so our initial concerns, the reason why we wanted to keep his flight feathers short, were just so he couldn't get out of our reach. You know, he couldn't like fly up to the top of there, fly up to the top of the fan, or flap around upstairs and just get, you know, get to places where we couldn't reach him. And also we were a little afraid that, you know, this is a sliding glass door. There's obviously windows behind me, and we didn't want him, you know, crashing into those. So far we have had no trouble whatsoever with that. He only flies in circles. He's never shown any interest in flying straight at the window. He's never shown any interest in trying to get outside there. He's been here long enough that I guess he understands that that's not a way to get outside. We have a screen door. That door is never open. The screen door is never open when he's outside of his cage. We always make sure that he is locked up in his cage if we have to open that screen door. So there's no way he's going to just simply fly away and fly outside. And he's also not shown any interest in going up there or getting out of our reach. And the times that we do have to manually put him back in his cage, if we're going to leave the house or, you know, go to bed, he's very good about, you know, you can just put him on our finger, and once or twice he'll hop off and maybe not want to get back in the cage. But, you know, after a couple tries, he goes back in the cage. He's never been a point where we can't get him back in the cage. So right now it seems to be working out well. Clearly, if we run into an instance where, you know, he is trying to, you know, go for that door and get outside, we'll have to rethink the flight feathers thing. But right now, so long as he's shown no interest in flying that way, he just does his laps, he does his circles, it seems to be really good. It's good for, I think it's good for him. It just, you know, gives him more of a sense of security and freedom. And he's been just particularly just cheerful and happy and playing with his toys and flapping around. And we put parakeet videos on TV, and he just stands there and he looks at him and he chirps and he hops around, and he's just a really, really happy bird. It's funny, when my parents were here, I guess he chirps all the time, and I'm just used to it. We're just used to it. We don't even think about it. And when my mom was here, she was like, he chirps. She's like, he never shuts up. He must be so happy because he's always just chirping and chortling and cheeping. And he just, I don't know, I guess he just is a very vocal bird, and we don't even think about it because we're with him every day. So that's the flight feather update. Hopefully everything will continue going well in that respect. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.